Hi, good evening. This is take two on Poem Praise 2 of Babyhood and Purity of the Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. And it reads as such. He didn't have as many clothes as the females around him, and he could relieve himself any place he chose, while the girls needed a pot, a room with a toilet and a door. He could also play rougher games and contact sports. His home life became his routine. It ran smoothly enough and had dependable systems. He always saw his mother going to or coming from work, food shopping, cleaning house, paying bills, cooking, negotiating with store vendors, participating in church, praying on her knees at home, humming spirituals, picking out his clothes, arranging furniture, talking on the phone, and she was always still up when he went to bed, and already up when he rose in the morning. He didn't quite understand how she did all this, and he wasn't quite sure what he was supposed to do, since it was visibly apparent to him that his mother took care of practically everything, including all his needs. He knew he had to do what he was told, but other than playing, doing a few duties, going to school, and having a few squabbles with his peers, he didn't know what else to do. If he was really poor, he learned early to be ashamed of his condition. He never liked being different because being different kept him from having certain things and feeling good about himself. The toys or games he wanted were usually attached to the value of them placed on him by others in his peer group. Many of their mothers were on welfare or some kind of public assistance, received a type of food stamp coupon, and predictably ran out of money and food before the end of the month came. Welfare checks traditionally arrived on the first day of each month and always generated much activity and busyness, excitement in the area. The check amounts varied from about $12 a month to about $200 a month, depending on the number of dependents in the household, north, south, east, or west. Because of the strict stipulations set up by the government in order to qualify for welfare, he often confusedly witnessed his mother hide an appliance, the telephone, a radio, or a TV set, a record player, etc., or any item the visiting, generally white, social worker might deem as an extra, and reason enough to reduce or cut off the welfare support check. The worker's attitude was that if a family was on welfare, they were not to have anything considered a luxury, other than food, basic clothing, and furnishings. And there were guidelines on even that. The furniture couldn't be too fancy and the clothes couldn't be too fashionable. There was a distinct welfare look. And when a family stopped looking like they were on welfare, they were canceled out of the program. Sometimes his mother had to hide her man, maybe his father, outside the house, under the bed or in the closet, so that the worker would not catch a man in the house. Word always spread like wildfire in his community if a worker was seen or rumored to be in the vicinity. His memories of the shame attached to welfare poverty was not pretty. The more industries once ran errands for neighbors or shop owners, carried groceries, swept steps, emptied trash, or sold newspaper to provide themselves with spending money. He was highly motivated to get his hands on some change, and selling soda bottles was not out of the question at 2 cents or 3 cents per bottle refund. Earning enough money to buy an ice cream cone, some penny candy, or go to the movies was sufficient to boost his pride. Little discussion of his future or the kind of work he would do when he grew up occurred. If he lived with both parents, things tended to be considerably better. They might have a car, go on real vacations, get dressed up every Sunday, attend a modern school away from the neighborhood, get new clothes seasonably, visit the dentist or the doctor, eat out in a restaurant, go to camp, or go out of town, often on a train or bus, to participate in activities with other two-parent children. These parents made his life as comfortable as possible, and he was programmed to achieve. He got a chance to learn from his father or his father's work. They were small lessons, but they helped him make social transitions to adult expressions of masculinity and responsibility. Some of the memories are connected to a particularly whipping he got for doing something wrong. Unless he was brutalized, black men recall these memories fondly and make jokes about what happened. In the two-parent household, he was more indoctrinated with the idea that he was just as good as anyone else. He could do anything as long as he got a good education, and that he must grow up and be a credit to his race and make his parents proud. Under no circumstances must he prejudge. Let me rephrase that. Let me read that again. Under no circumstances must he be prejudiced against his own kind, whites or anything else. His home life was positive as he was programmed with ideas about his future success. Little mentions ever made about the specialness of his being black, and no information about his proud black heritage was imparted to him, and no mention of slavery was ever made. He was told he was a Negro, and other than his immediate family history, his ancient past was blurry and unfocused on any unique roots or personal background. He was introduced to be a good American. In some homes, he received a vague explanation about whites disliking blacks because of their skin color, that they were just prejudiced against the coloreds. And every book he read from the first page to the last contained white children or white families with white neighbors. None of the books were about him. During his earliest childhood, he is exposed to other routine experiences. Each Christmas, he was taken to town to go window shopping and sometimes permitted to take a snapshot picture sitting on the wondrous lap of Santa Claus, a mystical character who granted wishes for good little children on Christmas morn. Santa was always white in every picture or decoration. The black boy's eyes would light up with excitement mixed with a little fear as he was led through the heavily adored stores with twinkling lights, puffy white cotton, sparkling glitter, evergreen trees with all sorts of candy canes and brightly wrapped gifts. They were silverly tinseled, tinkling bells, little white elves as Santa's helpers, and holiday songs playing over speakers in stores and on the streets. Decorating a Christmas tree with glistening balls, angel hair that seemed to draw him into its maze and flashing color lights was the most beautiful sight he had ever seen. Even the poorest families had a Christmas tree, and most of them had wreaths or lights in the window. The black boy also saw little white children in white flowing gowns with white feathered wings on their backs with a silver halo over their heads, hanging from the ceilings in the store, perched on lawns and windows, and as table centerpieces. He was told that these lovely creatures were angels sent from heaven to celebrate the birth of Christ Jesus. Then, oh, the nativity scene, featuring a docile-looking, gently hooded serene, pale-skinned white woman identified him as the saintly mother of the Christ child. Next, there was a strong-looking, bitter white man whose name was Joseph, the father of baby Jesus. And of course, there was baby Jesus himself. Glittering white limbs, a divinely beautiful little white baby in a manger, in a barn representing King of Kings, sent to save the world. The three shepherds arrived on a camel from the east, with a huge star over the stable barn where Jesus had just been born, and wrapped in swaddling clothes and laid in a bed of straw. This glorified, mysterious, dramatic story mesmerized his attention and hypnotized him into believing the story and to always honor this saintly family above all others. He was taught that this was the real meaning of Christmas. Silent night, holy night, Santa Claus was like the icing on a cake. Intermingled with the spiritual and religious connotations, Santa guaranteed that every parent would teach the Christmas story to their children. Faith and fun what could be more innocent? Santa and his elves. A fat, jolly old-timer, also called Saint Nick, enjoyed a reputation of being the first always smiling, kind and good-doing white man the black boy had ever met. Santa for many years was allowed to take the credit for gifts of happiness to him. Presents and toys purchased with hard-earned black dollars, even going into debt, was attributed to the benevolence and goodness of a jolly old white man in a red suit with a white beard who traveled in a sled that flew across the sky, pulled by reindeer, led by Rudolph with a shiny blinking nose. It was suggested to the black boy that if he put out cookies and milk, that Santa would eat them during his visit, after he tumbled down the chimney to put gifts under the tree. For many years, the black boy believed the story. And by this time, he was told, or found out on his own, that Santa was just a fairy tale made up to entertain him. The black boy had spent many nights dreaming about Santa and swooning to the words of "'Twas the night before Christmas." He was very susceptible to imaginary heroes who treated him good. Every black boy in America was taught the same two aspects of Christmas: Christ Jesus' birth and Santa Claus. Being so impressionable, he believed the people he trusted and trusted the people he believed in. Baby Jesus and Santa Claus, and his mother, who endorsed them both. At another time of the year, he was introduced to Valentine's Day, a day he is told means love. This love was best expressed with a red-shaped symbol to replicate the heart, which was sometimes pierced with an arrow looped across it, or accompanied by one or two chubby little white babies called cherubs. The cherubs had a tiny bow and an arrow which they were able to shoot into the heart of couples to make them fall hopelessly in love with each other. The heart became his idea of love. He was never told who St. Valentine was, and his parents didn't know either. But all of them knew about Cupid and his little bow and arrow, spreading love in heart-shaped boxes of candy and pretty red and white greeting cards, which he distributed on a miniature level across among his closest school friends. And on there, we're going to bring this to a pause and end that right there for take 2 of chapter 1. Stay tuned for take 3 of chapter 1. Be blessed. From me to you on Poem Praise 2. Holla at you later, okay? Later, y'all.